Welcome, race fans, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the coverage tonight of the ARCA Evolution Series from the Bristol Motor Speedway as they take on this track for round 12 of their playoffs, race number 2 here at the Last Great Coliseum here tonight on iRacing Live here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Let's give a special shout out to all the sponsors who helped make it happen here at the Evolution Racing League and the ARCA Evolution Series. First, we have Or Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go check them out at www.ornissancentral.com. Next, we have Sheffield Graphics, the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was founded by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great nonprofit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics. Next, we have ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10-powered race car, from the ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to ButtKicker.com and use promo code FreakyFast20 to get any purchase there 20% off at ButtKicker.com, and you can feel what you've been missing. Thank you to all the sponsors here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the Evolution Racing Leagues. But now on to the racing action here tonight, the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Fishbowl 90, race number 2 of the round of 12 of the 2021 playoffs for the ARCA Evolution Series. I am Zach Hall up here in the booth. Joined alongside me will be Brandon Colley, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. in the production box to be able to run all these beautiful cameras here tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Brandon, we got a lot on the line for these drivers and a tough racetrack here. What do we expect to see here tonight for race number 2 of the round of 12?
Yeah, Fishbowl is exactly right. I'm sure a lot of these guys would prefer that they filled this place up with water and could go out here racing some boats maybe, but it's classic short track, man. Home of the bump and run here. Not so much anymore. Seems the top groove is a bit more preferred than the bottom groove, but the bottom groove is where you're going to have to find the speed to be able to make passes here. And especially with the ARCA cars, don't have a lot of experience here at Bristol in the ARCA cars, so going to be interested to see what these guys find in terms of speed in different lanes and exactly how long it takes for that bottom lane to come in. And restart's absolutely going to be key, especially if you're in the back of the field there. If you got to have a late restart, you're wanting to be on the outside lane, inside lane. Generally, if you can't find a gap to hop into, you're going to find yourself all the way to the back of the field. And if you're on the front row, just try not to spin those tires, get as good a launch as possible, and try to get in line as quickly as possible to not lose any positions and try to hunt down the leader. I imagine just being a short track. Normally with the Evolution Racing Leagues, we don't see too many cautions, but short tracks breed cautions, close racing. And these guys are going to have 2 sets of tires in the pits with a 50% fuel load in only 90 laps. I believe they are barely just out of the window from being able to make this race on a tank of fuel. So we're going to see them have to come down pit road at the bare minimum 1 time for fuel, but generally at Bristol, you don't concern yourself too much with the fuel. It's all about the tires, especially being a concrete surface. Really abuse them, and for how hard these guys are sending it off into these corners, really high speed short track with a lot of banking, you can carry a lot of speed into the corner, so you're definitely going to be chewing those tires up. 2 sets in the pits, and I'm sure they're going to be using every one of them before the end of this thing's over.
Well, we should see how it should all play out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here tonight early for the ARCA Evolution Series, as I'm sure we have some new viewers out there, so we can give you a good picture of what's going on here, you know, with race number 2 of the round of 12. Right now, after last week at Daytona, that opening race of the round of 12 here to separate down to 8 drivers after next week at Richmond. Man, it was definitely something we didn't expect. We had Steve Potter, a non-playoff driver, winning the race. He's actually in the 17th position right now, that top non-playoff driver in that position, so he's looking good there. But, you know, looking at that, he took a automatic lock-in position from another driver, and we had a lot of different things happen for a lot of the guys in the top 12. Right now, coming into this race here, Brandon, only 14 points separating from 1st to 12th after 1 race, and with 2 to go. That cut line is getting very, very close right now with Steven carrying the 83 being 1 point out. Jeff Carson 2 points out in the 9. We're going to have 3 points out for Richard Gonzalez and 4 points out for Steven Racek. So each of those guys an extra point out compared to each other. It's definitely pretty interesting.
Well, and when you only have a field size of about 18 roughly, especially here tonight that we're seeing with the ARC Evolution Series, it makes each and every one of those points matter so much more, because if a guy has a bad day, he's still getting pretty decent points, all things considered. And, you know, like you talked about, 14 points from first place Chris Roll to 12th place Steven Racek. You have one bad race and find yourself in the back. You don't want to put yourself in a hole early on into a round, especially in this knockoff format. And if you have a bad race here at Bristol, it's going to be an uphill climb, especially going into another short track at Richmond next week.
That it will be 2 short tracks back to back. Do not want to put yourself in trouble here tonight. And this is one of the toughest places to not get in trouble. When stuff happens, this track clogs up. Very short track, you know, only half a mile, shortest track on the circuit with Martinsville. Things happen very quick, especially with a under 15-second lap time here tonight for these ARCA cars. They're really getting around here pretty quick. As we head off into qualifying, this may be the toughest part of this racetrack. Is you literally are almost like just so fast. It's so hard to explain how fast you're going here at the Bristol Motor Speedway under a qualifying lap. It's almost like you can't even breathe how fast you're going.
Yeah, you definitely hold your breath for about the 2 laps that you're going to be turning these qualifying laps. And the trickiest part is where the preferred lane is in the speed. You've got to run so close to the wall to be able to maximize your speed on the exit of the corner. But if you tap that wall even a little bit, it's going to nullify your lap, and you're going to get no time. You can't afford to do that 2 laps in a row. You might be able to give up the first lap doing that, but absolutely want to stay away from the wall on the second lap. And that's just something else that makes this track so hard, especially for qualifying, just because of how close you have to run. Any type of mistake with your wheel input, or maybe just a couple feet too far into the corner, you're not going to get a lap in.
Very, very tough to see here. Is a little bit of a hit to the wall there, and that's going to bring it into the qualifying lap there. The 73 of Justin Malarkey. Remember, he won in the first round of the playoffs. Let's see if he can lock himself in here tonight. Right now, still on top of that board, even though hitting that wall by 0.02 of a second over Anthony Gaudio. Time's a little bit slower than our practice times too, so very interesting to see a little bit of a slowdown with the racetrack.
Yeah, track temp right now down to 75, ambient 71, so it's going to take a little while for these guys to really build up a solid amount of pressure in the tires. So when they get going, you know, especially under qualifying here, 2 laps, it's a lot of load on the tires, and you're not really getting a lot of time to get them up to that preferred running temp that you're going to feel most comfortable. So guys, just a little bit slower right now in these qualifying times, but I'm sure once we get about 10 laps or so into a run, you're really going to see the speed start to pick up, especially the guys that are out in front of these lines. They're not bogged down in traffic having to check up.
As it looks like we've gone through 2 minutes so far of qualifying. We've had 17 drivers of the 19 put laps down. And at the moment, still Justin Malarkey looking to bring home that Sheffield Graphics pole award. We'll see what Matt Upbrook here in the 16 can do on his second lap. Where does he slot into? That'll put him up to the 6th position, one of our playoff drivers in that 16 machine. The Hulk Hogan styled race car, as the Donkey Punch Racing guys are taking a whole different approach here with their themes this week. It seems like each week some new theme, and this week it's wrestlers with David Edwards having the Ultimate Warrior, and also I believe Richard Gonzalez having Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking for opportunities to reference that throughout the race. Don't you worry about that. Do you have to point out, Matt, I'm disappointed. I don't see any numbers on that car. We had to work on that.
Yeah, definitely prefer the numbers to be on there, but sometimes you know how it is with your paint showing up. So we'll have to see. But looks like qualifying has really not come to an end, but we're nearing the point where nobody's out on the racetrack, and it looks like Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. and Michael Haru yet to take a time. So right now, it looks like our qualifying order is set, unless these 2 drivers, they have plenty of time to do it here. Actually, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr., he's going to get on the racetrack in that 48 machine, roll off a pit road here. We'll be able to watch him live, see what he can put down for a lap here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. But again, thank you everybody tuning in here tonight. And what a special night it is. First time for Freaky Fast broadcasting on iRacing Live. Thank you to iRacing for, first of all, providing such a great sim for us to be able to do this on a weekly basis here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, but also the chance to be able to do it live on the iRacing portal, and definitely a big accomplishment here tonight. So thank you to everybody new tuning in, and make sure if you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure to hit us up in chat too. We would love to have some conversation with some race fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Zach said, it's really cool. Finally be, up on the iRacing portal page and bring in some new fans and just fans of racing. Maybe you're not a fan of oval racing, but you saw it and said, you know what, I got some free time. I'll tune in to watch. Hopefully we can make a fan out of you.
And hopefully everybody's enjoying the nice, beautiful 1440p action here at the Bristol Motor Speedway here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting that our producer Robert Moore Jr. brings to us very kindly, and we definitely enjoy that quality of action here because you're going to see the sparks flying in crystal clear high definition, that's for sure, tonight. As it looks like 2 seconds left in qualifying, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. slided in that 14th spot, but it looks like Justin Malarkey, as Michael Haru, not yet to take a time, will be our Sheffield graphics pole setter. We'll get to talking with him after we go through our grid, as there it is. Your qualifying session has come to a conclusion, and we will bring the grid up here and let you see where your favorite drivers are starting tonight here at the Fishbowl 90 at the Bristol Motor Speedway for the ARCA Evolution Series. Justin Malarkey, winner from Chicagoland in round 1, will bring home that Sheffield graphics pole. Second's going to go to Anthony Gaudio in that 3 machine. Third's going to be Brian Fine. Fourth's going to be Zach Salmon. Fifth position's going to go to the 4 of Harold Rothery. Sixth's going to be Matt Upbrook. Seventh's going to be Justin Hendry. Eighth, Stephen Carey. Ninth is going to be David Edwards in the 15 machine. 10th's going to be James Wright. And that is your top 10.
Jake Shea in the 77 in 11th position. Matthew Dude in 12th. Chris Merroll, surprising qualifying effort for the 14 in the 13th position. Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. in 14th. Stephen Racing, 15th position. Richard Gonzalez in the 6th and 16th. Steve Potter, last week's winner, in 17th position. Jeff Carson in the 9 and 18th. And rounding out your field, Michael Brew in the 7 and 19th.
That is your starting grid here tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway for the ARCA Evolution Series. Let's go ahead and bring up Justin Malarkey from MR73 Racing and hear what he has to say about sitting on the pole here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Hey Justin, Brandon up in the booth, you got a copy.
Hey Brandon, how you doing?
Well man, not as good as you. Congratulations on getting the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here at Bristol. We talked about what a tough track it is, not only to race, but to qualify. Putting down a burner lap, 2,000ths quicker than Anthony in the 3 there. Able to edge that out, but got a great starting position here, man. How are you feeling about the race?
Yeah, I feel really good about the race. Definitely want to get out there and try and get some bonus points leading some laps and hopefully stay in front of any cars wrecking, because you know this track, get caught up quick.
Well, we talked about some restart issues in the pre-race and just about how much the wheel spin is going to be a factor. Have you tested that at all, and can you give us an idea of exactly how bad that's going to be for you guys?
Yeah, on restarts on old tires, that could definitely become an issue. In the first 2 or 3 laps, the tires are extremely slippery. So let's take it easy and save it. Hopefully we'll go green here.
Well, last question I ask you before I let you get back down there and get ready to start this thing. Is there any hope for the bottom lane? It looks like, in previous races, the outside's really good. How are you guys feeling about the bottom?
Yeah, I feel like the bottom, you got to plan when it's going to work. You don't want to be down there more than about a lap and a half. You gotta plan your power move accordingly.
All right, Justin. Well, good luck, bud, and hopefully you can keep that thing clean up near the front. And we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
And congratulations to you guys on the iRacing lineup. Hopefully everyone's watching and gets entertained.
All right, that was Justin Malarkey. Thank you for the shout there, Justin, as he's your Sheffield graphics pole winner here tonight at the ARCA Evolution Series here at the Evolution Racing Leagues. And man, what a night we have here at Bristol Motor Speedway action. First race here in the ARCA Series. Next race at 9:20 Eastern. Don't miss on that. The RSR Cup Series also here for their big race in the round of 12. Got lots of action going on here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. What a special night it is. And we cannot wait to get the action started here as we're going to round into 3 and 4. We're going to get ready to take this first initial green flag of tonight. 90 laps. Who's going to be able to pull it off? Pace car is in. And there it is. Green flag out and away. Justin Malarkey with the great start there on the bottom. Gaudio and Brian Fine are going to battle down to 1.
Yeah, Fine holding the inside lane here. Good news is, I mean, you see the run that they carry out at the top. He had a spot to slip in, so now Fine into the third. Ooh, Rothery getting a big, contact already through 3 and 4. Rothery in a big moment on the bottom. They're wrecking big out of turn 4.
Oh, it's 3. It looks like a couple playoff contenders, too, to bring out our first or Nissan Central caution of the night. And man, oh man, I believe that started around the 4, and Zach Sandlin actually got the worst of that in the 57 there, as him and I believe the 4 have made some contact there in 4. As we'll go back on the freaky fast broadcasting replay and see exactly what happened here. Going down the back straightaway here, down into 3 and 4. You're going to see the 4 held Rothery. Looks like he had a snap oversteer moment. Goes right up into the front of the 57. Nowhere for him to check up into the back of that 4. And then from here, guys are just going to be looking to miss it. And there's the 28 of Justin Hendry, our playoff contender, getting collected. Same with David Edwards, but Edwards looks like he takes minimal damage while Hendry takes a hard lick in that 28. Remember, no quick repairs here in the ARCA Evolution Series. That is a major incident for Justin Hendry. You can see the right front broken on that car.
Yeah, definite suspension issues for the 28. And like you said, David Edwards, big concern when I saw him around, but really just kind of scuffed up the paint on the nose of the 15. And watching Justin Hendry go around here trying to limp it back around. Hopefully they can get that thing fixed and he can kind of keep plucking away at it. Hope some other guys have a lot of bad incidents. If you're going to have this happen, I mean, it's pretty early on. If you can get it fixed and keep going, there's a lot of potential for guys to have problems as the race goes on here. You can keep making up some positions as the race goes on, but you got to hope that those incidents happen for a lot of other guys.
Under our first caution of the night, brought to you by Nissan Central. Wild stuff here transpiring in the initial laps. Let's say Harold Rothery in the 4. He's going to bring it down the pit road first of the lead lap cars to hit there. And I tell you, the driver who made the most of that, the guy you talked about in our grid there, Brandon, is the 14 of Chris Sproul started in 13th. He drove all the way to 7th, and Jake Cachet, he went from 11th to 6th. So the MR73 guys there really making up some great ground from their poor qualifying positions.
Yeah, definitely did not expect that kind of qualifying result out of the 14 of Chris Sproul. So glad to see him, 1, avoiding that, and 2, making his way up through the field as well. But I'm really interested to see the 77 of Jake Cachet has not really had the best season. Had some type just trouble every week, it seems like, in trying to find speed and consistent finishes for the 77. I have to see if he can keep it together here. He's got a good top 10 lined up at the moment. Things only just started, still got a long ways to go, but definitely top 10, not out of reach. Neither is the top 5. It's only 1 position out of it at the moment.
Early racing going wrong here. As you see the 4L Rothery, he's going to be leaving pit road. Just had a snap oversteer moment there, and it can happen so quickly. I mean, we heard our pole setter of the 73, Justin Martin, talk about the first 2 or 3 laps. Very slick on tires, and it takes a little bit of time for that heat to be built up and that grip level to come up. I mean, it's pretty tough, and it looks like we're going to get him double filed here as we're going to get the 1 to green, and he's going to take the outside for this restart. Now I start to question, when do we start to see that wheel spin, Brandon? You brought it up, but man, after a few of these restarts like this, the tires are not going to like that.
Well, I think if we get a couple of laps underneath these tires under green and they get another caution, that's when you're really gonna have to worry about it. I think with the temperatures they've got right now, they've not had that heating up and cooling down cycle yet. The tire's still relatively cold, and that's gonna have a lot of grip on the start, not so much for lateral load when they hit the corners, but I think on the initial start you should be able to be pretty good. Once we get those heat cycles in it, that's gonna be a whole other problem.
We'll see how these drivers navigate the Bristol Motor Speedway here after their first caution of the evening. Pace car is going to take the hard left-hand turn down the pit road. Barney, the flagman, waits in anticipation. There it is, green flag in the air. Another great restart from Justin Malarkey. He heads down clear of the row behind him. Now Anthony Gaudio battles down in here with Matt Upbrook, the 16. The 16 Upbrook to the 2nd position.
Yeah, again, that power run out of the top of turn 2 on the initial restarts, not much that Gaudio can do about it. Now himself and Brian Fine slotting in line there in the 3rd and 4th position, but Matt Upbrook looking to have a stellar run here at Bristol, trying to go up here and see what he can do with Malarkey.
Putting the pressure on, starting in the 6th position here, and with 2 restarts able to make his way all the way to 2nd, utilizing that outside lane. Malarkey, though,
Oh, we
looking
got
strong out
contact.
front, and we are wrecking behind, bringing out our second caution of the night. Looks like, it might be or looks like Jake Shea, I believe. Yeah, the 77 of Jake Shea evolved in that with Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. And I believe it first happened, all started with the 77 of Jake Shea going down into turn number 1 here on the Freaky Fast replay. We'll see exactly how this played out. Going down to 1, you're going to see, look at that rear end kick out in that 77. That's a common theme there. You go driving off in that corner, lose the rear end of that race car, and from there, you're going to see, I think, 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. checking up Steven Rasick on the outside lane, nowhere to go, runs into the back of him. Jake Shea there in somewhat of a chain reaction type of event, and then Harold Rothery and the 55 of Matthew Dew both getting caught up in it.
Yeah, there were 2 separate wrecks that happened almost simultaneously on that lap. It looked like the 55 of Matthew Dew just got a little bit loose coming out of turn 4 down the front stretch and just kind of lost it going into turn 2. And a couple other guys driving into it getting collected as well. So 2 separate accidents here as now we're 10 laps in, or on lap 10 rather, of a 90-lap race. So guys finding trouble early.
Lots of trouble here, and I tell you what, I need to make a correction because I just looked at something I've been totally saying wrong. And this is race number 1 of the round of 12. I some reason thought this was race 2, but that is not true. So don't worry about that as we head to Kansas next week and then Richmond for race number 3. I was just going over it, and I was like, what? It just didn't make sense to me how I was looking at the points, and now I definitely got it all understanding. This is race number 1, so very big race here. A pivotal moment for somebody to lock themselves in, or do we see another spoiler like Steve Potter there in the final race of the round of 16?
Well, I think based on the running order we're seeing at the front of this field so far, I don't think we're going to see a surprise winner here. It's going to be one of these playoff guys looking to lock themselves in, and Justin Malarkey, where he's running right now, I mean, he was the first one to lock himself in for the round of 16, and looking to go ahead and repeat that now. I mean, if you wanted to avoid having to go into Daytona last week and that cutoff race without having to worry about any type of points and needing to finish well there, I mean, you've got 2 short tracks on the schedule for this round of 12. I think you kind of don't want to have to worry about points when you go to Richmond. So Malarkey looking to go ahead and just sweep both opening rounds of the playoffs here for 16 and 12 and take a win here at Bristol.
It'll definitely play out very well for someone if they could get in the victory lane here and lock themselves in, because Kansas, it's going to be wild. I mean, that's going to be somewhat of a wild racetrack with it being top dominant. I mean, we've seen lately it's changed up a little bit, and we're actually seeing some interesting strategy be played here. We do have 3 sets of tires tonight. Did Uprook hit pit road for tires? He did, I believe.
I think that's a bit too early to be coming in to take a set of tires. I mean, realistically, I don't even think you've gotten 10 laps under green on that set. If you're taking a set this early, you're kind of wasting it. I could see if you're in the back of the field, you might come in here and top off on fuel. Because like I said, I think they're at least going to have to make 1 stop for fuel. But other than that, I don't really see any reason to be pitting this early in the race.
Looking at his race car, he's got damage on it right here. Looks like he was repairing. I'm not sure if that happened under caution when the caution came out. I might actually have to go back. Oh, yes. No, when the caution came out, the leaders had the 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. spin his car up onto the track, and Uprook had nowhere to go. Oh, man, that is calamity. I tell you what, that is not good here as we're back under green. Uprook having major issues there with Anthony Gaudio here now up to second with Uprook's unfortunate misfortune.
Well, we saw Anthony Gaudio having a much better restart that time, able to use the inside to get up to that second position. And close behind them, Chris Smerl taking over the 5th position. It was Malarkey has a big moment out of turn 4. And it's got now the 3 of Anthony Gaudio all over the back bumper of him, seeing some smoke there. No cars on the track. Everything keeps going. We're still under green. Stephen Carey now trying to make that inside lane work. We heard from Malarkey, you don't want to be down there more than a lap or 2. It just puts a lot of temp into the tire and starts to balloon. You try to make the pass. If it does not work out, you got to just slot yourself back in the line. But now he's going to give up the position to the 14 here as the 14 is able to get to his outside. And it looks behind them. David Edwards caught up in our first incident. A little bit of nose damage, got it repaired. Now into the 6th position.
That looks good. Clean race car for him after that wreck. So looking very strong there as he's already back up into 6th. Stephen Carey is one of the drivers on the outside looking in, coming into tonight. 1 point out of that cut line. He's definitely going to need a good run. And the speed that 83 shows, if he can just put together a clean round here in a round of 2, he should, I would say, point his way through. His issue is just going to be coming up with little mistakes, not getting the finishes that his speed entails.
Yeah, it's, Stephen Carey's one of those guys that we see up front each and every week. It's just toward the end of the races when the aggression level rises, he ends up getting caught up in something more often than not, whether it's just, can't help what happens ahead of him or putting himself maybe in a bad position. But right now, great run, top 5. And we had a lead change. Anthony Gaudio able to get around Justin Malarkey now as the tires are starting to heat up here, showing guys that are going to be overdriving it. They're really going to be start paying the price for it at this point. Lap 24 coming around to start lap 25. And top 4 kind of breaking away just a little bit.
Yeah, starting to put a little gap between Stephen Carey and Chris Merrill there from 4th to 5th. But Anthony Gaudio there, while you were talking, made the power move right in the middle lane. And that's something I don't see a lot of drivers utilize. You see a lot of guys go up to his very 3rd lane, and then when they try to pass him, they go all the way to the bottom. Where you could run that 2nd lane, try to still get somewhat of a decent run off, and use that, the shorter way around. And that's exactly how he did it. Got to that middle lane, made it work off, cleared that 73, and right now doing a fantastic job here, 26 laps into this thing. But I tell you what, Smerol, with that bad qualifying spot of 13th, he's already drove up to 4th, all over the back bumper of Brian Fine, who is right on the cut line in that 8th position right now in points.
Directly behind that battle, David Edwards able to get around Stephen Carey now to move himself into the top 5. Going to be trying to chase down our front 4. Anthony Gaudio starting to stretch his legs just a little bit. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Pretty much nose to tail at this point, but they are starting to come up upon lap traffic here with some of the slower cars that have found a lot of damage early on in this race.
Right now, single file action, but definitely hair-raising as they race around this half-mile oval here in Bristol, Tennessee, live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Here's the 9 of Jeff Carson. He needs to have somewhat of a good run here tonight. He came in here tonight outside of that top 8 in points. He's going to need 3 good races to get him through the top 8. He's actually a driver, I believe, he could be Final 4 material.
He's shown a lot of speed, especially in the latter half of this season, and bad qualifying effort out of the 9 team this week, but he's been able to avoid the trouble that's started in front of him. Now we've got this green flag run going here, and as I say that, we got a caution.
And as Collie says, we got a green flag run. We got our 3rd caution of the night, brought to you by Ward Nissan Central. And I'm going to quote myself from earlier like Brian Johnson did out there. That's an unfortunate misfortune right there, as I believe the 55 of Matthew Duke goes around right in front of our leader of Anthony Gaudio there. And it seems like a few guys struggling out here with a little bit of rear grip, getting in a little too hot, popping that rear end out and losing it. There's, you see Matthew Duke bring it down pit road after his solo spin there to bring out that or Nissan Central caution there.
Yeah, Matthew Duke then dragging the cone all the way down pit road, but I think just watching the 55, it's just a little bit too much speed into the corner. I think if the 55 just backs it up a little bit more and maybe just use a little bit of brake to help slow the car down, it's going to keep the back end underneath you when you go into the corner and get all that load on the right side. Everybody else pretty well with the handling of the car, but so far the 55 just seeming to be struggling just a little bit with the handling.
Well, I tell you what, a little bit of different strategy being played here as a few drivers elect, it looks like majority of the drivers elect to hit pit road here on lap 34, which personally to me, I feel like this is a good time. If you're going to pit and take tires, take them now, and you're going to have 1 set left. Make sure you save that set for a while, though. It's going to have to be a while before you use that set, so you got to get the most out of them here. They're going to come down pit road and get down here, but it looks like David Edwards, Michael Haru staying out right now. Also, Steven Rasick looks like also maybe, I believe that's it. I believe there's 3 guys just stayed out there.
It's gonna be interesting to see the pace difference between these guys on the older tires and the guys that are coming out now. And Anthony Gaudio able to win that battle off pit road. Malarkey second, and Fine coming out third. Also, talking about Chris Merle able to hold on here to the tail end of that front pack here. So they're going to be slotting out now in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Stephen Carey falling back to the what will now cycle to the 9th position. But the front four going to be on slightly older tires here. The pace should not be too drastically different here at Bristol. You can get away with having some older tires and a little bit off pace just by being able to be in the preferred lane and just kind of take away the guy's lane. And unless he's got a little bit of tire saved, it's going to be hard for him to get underneath you and make that pass. It's just a matter of how quickly these guys on fresh tires can get to that front four and through traffic that they're going to have to be dealing with themselves. And I like this move because they're the first ones to cycle onto pit road. So if we get a caution in another 10 to 15 laps, maybe 20 laps, the rest of these guys are going to be thinking, hey, maybe we should come in now. And they're going to cycle themselves to the back. These guys are going to leapfrog them while they're on pit road back to the lead.
And at the moment, with David Edwards out front, I'm looking at his lap times. He ran his fastest lap there on 19, a 15:18. Right before that caution came out, ran a 15:39. So you're only looking at about 2/10 of fall off there in that number 15. I do like these strategies of staying out here at Bristol. You know, like you said, not a lot of fall off. We'll see how far they fall back. That's going to be the question.
It always seems that the biggest point of strategy here at Bristol is just trying to get the track position and just be in the way.
And here we go into the restart zone. Green flag is out and away. David Edwards, great start for him. That's Haru. They're about 2 car lengths back. Has already got Anthony Gaudio in the 3 to his outside. Brian 5 driving around this 2 is Steven Racing as he comes down the back straightaway to the inside of that number 7 of Michael Haru. He's trying to take the 3rd spot with them new tires, but Anthony Gaudio already within 2 car lengths of the leader David Edwards as they round off of turn 2.
And Gaudio using a bit higher of a line through the corners than what David Edwards was running. Edwards really low on the track, allowing Gaudio to get those massive runs out of the corner. But now, as Gaudio has caught the 15, you'll see that Edwards has moved up the track a bit, just kind of keep a little bit of dirty air on the nose of the 3 and take away his preferred lane.
And you can see it's working very well for that 15. He's moved up a little bit right in front of the 3. The 3 has not been able to get nothing done. And that's just showing you not too much of a difference on tires. I'm liking the call from David Edwards to save that set. But here comes the run from the 3. He set it up from the top side by side. But they got the 8 of James Wright directly ahead of him in the lap car. Can they navigate this well? The 3's going to have another big run coming down the back straightaway here down the 3. Just cannot get close enough to dive to the inside. But I think here off of 4, here it comes. Looking to the inside, but not enough again. He's just teasing us right now.
Yeah, got a great run, but could not quite pull low enough to get to the inside of David Edwards rather than run him over, just checking up a little bit. Their class move for the 3, especially this early in the race.
You know, also, this is the thing that Anthony Gaudio, if he can get by this 15 and start to put a gap, you can see almost 2 seconds back all the way to Michael Haru. And they're wrecking back there. Brian Fine in the 98 is going around to bring out our 4th caution of the night here, brought to you by Ward Nissan Central. And it looks like getting a little bit loose off of turn 2 and going around with a little bit of help of the 83 Stephen Carey, but he had pretty much already lost it before that.
Well, Brian coming over the radio, apologizing to everybody, saying he caught a little bit of the apron there and did just that. Left front, just a little bit on the apron. That's going to de-wedge the car a whole lot, send him around, but obviously finished off by the 83 there, but not really any damage to the 98 or the 83.
Yeah, we can see here on the Freaky Fast replay, just catching that apron just a little bit at the left front. Boom, right there. That's going to, like you said, Brandon, de-wedge that car, and it's going to make him very, very loose. And he loses the rear end. Had a little bit of help from Stephen Carey, but Carey really couldn't miss that. And at least, luckily for Brian Fine, doesn't go lap down, gets that car back around, but he did just take a set of tires, and he just locked them up and slid them. That will definitely take the life out of those tires.
Well, the good news is, from what we've seen, even a little bit of wear on the tires not going to put you too far off on pace. Biggest thing here is the track position lost because of the spin. It's been so hard to pass especially when you get up toward the front with guys that are a lot more similar on pace than to what you're able to run. Once he gets back up there, it's going to be pretty difficult, especially with the disadvantage now of having the slightly worn tires compared to the guys he just pit with.
And we just had David Edwards come to pit road. Michael Haru, Harold Rothery also electing to come down. Looks like Steven Rasick will stay out on that 2 machine. But man, definitely some interesting strategies being played. The only thing about David Edwards and pitting there now, it's not going to be a huge difference. I mean, we saw the difference in his tires. He was able to hold off the 3. Now not going to be very much difference for him, and he's going to have to start from the back of this field.
Well, David Edwards, he'd been able to hold off Anthony Gaudio for a little while, but just as that yellow came out, Gaudio had made the move to the inside and was looking to start battling the 15 pretty hard here. So I think Edwards realized, hey man, I'm not going to be able to hold him at bay much longer, especially now he's going to be starting right next to me. So I'm going to go ahead, take these tires, and I've got plenty of time to work my way up through the field. I think at this point, the amount of time you're going to have left in the race versus how long you're going to have to be on these tires, I don't think we're going to see the 15 pit again, especially if it happens toward the end of the race. Now, it could change depending on what track position he has when that happens. If we get a late caution, if he's toward the front, maybe. But if he cannot seem to find his way up there, I think he stays out and just tries to hold on and steal the win.
Very possible. That could shake out that way, man. I mean, this is definitely turned for an interesting turn here. Another saying from the Zach Hall book of 2021 here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
I'm going to need somebody to publish that book. I need a coffee table.
You would enjoy that when you drinking your coffee, your Dutch Bros, and kicking back and read the good quote book of Zach Hall. I mean, I would get a good kick out of it too. Trust me. I sometimes don't even know what I am saying.
Well, watching Trevor Massetti out there, one of our Cup Series regulars, ribbon on the 15 of David Edwards just a little bit for some practice race shenanigans between the two of them. So thanks, Trevor, for coming out and watching here.
Yeah, Trevor's got a big race coming up here at Bristol later tonight in the Cup Series. Don't miss that 9:20 Eastern RSR Cup Series live here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And there we are, green flag back out. Anthony Gaudio with a great start from the top. He's going to pull the 2 teammates from MR73 side by side. It's going to roll Malarkey. Malarkey looks to clear the 14 off of 2. Yes, he does. And holds on to that second position with Stephen Carey in 4th and Rasick. And the 9 is Jeff Carson battling for top 5.
Got this big battle back here with Stephen Rasick, Jeff Carson, and Brian Fine. Fine looking to regain some of his track position. It seems like the 2... Oh, so we got a caution.
Looks like our 5th caution of the night going to come out here on lap 51, sorry, as we are past halfway now. I'm unsure exactly where that caution came from. Looking at it here. Looks like the 15 David Edwards.
Edwards, yeah.
Trevor Massetti struck.
Looked like just again, maybe a little. Oh no, he just went into the corner on the bottom way too fast and lost the rear end there. Not a lot of grip. Talked about just taking that set of tires. The air temperatures being that low, and with such a cold track, there's not the grip to be carrying that amount of speed in there. And around goes the 15. Luckily, only a slight bit of contact for the 15. Not really any much more damage than what he had from that initial caution.
Looking at it here, looks like James Wright. Yeah, that must do. We just showed 2 incidents, I believe, from 2 cautions before with the aid of James Wright. And
we got a backlog.
Very, very similar incident, though, with the 15 of David Edwards there as he went around to bring out our 5th caution night brought to you by Nissan Central. As, man, oh man, it's definitely took a toll on these guys. This track has, as here they go ducking down the pit road to fake pit stops. Like I thought, man, will these guys pit again? I think if they pit again, it's got to happen around lap, I would say 70. That's probably the latest you're going to want to stop, because will you have enough time to get back up there?
Well, looking out here in the YouTube chat, the Slender Giraffe saying, Zach doing quick math, 51 equals 4 because 5 minus 1 equals 4.
Oh, I don't get it.
Poor Zach just getting roasted tonight.
No comment. I'm actually really good at math, so that's embarrassing.
Yeah, definitely.
Just ask
Definitely
people
better
about
at
my
math than
calculator.
me. Math. Got like 3 calculators in the pocket, one sitting on the windowsill just to make sure it gets some sun, and not gonna worry about the batteries running out.
Oh
Man.
yeah, solar power.
Yeah, I can do the numbers. I'm just gonna read them to you backwards. It's normally what happens. Well, looking at this, Zach, I was talking about the two of Steven Racing just before that caution, and was a bit off the pace in qualifying, and he's kind of running at the back for most of this race. Kind of cycled to the front here now in the top 5 position. I'll have to see if he can hold on here, but was under pretty heavy fire from the 98 and the 9. Going to be starting on the inside for this restart. Has not been the preferred place to restart unless you're on that front row. Something I noticed out of Justin Malarkey. You can absolutely make the bottom work on the initial restart to at least get second, but you have got to have some nerves of steel to sail it off in there, because on the fresh tires, you can run full throttle and not lift and carry a big run out, but it's not going to feel very good when you do it.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I didn't get much of that because I'm getting roasted out here. I might as well go ahead and put an apple in my mouth. You guys might as well rotisserie me because it's getting pretty spicy out there. Got it to Brian, my teammate there. But back to green. Anthony Gaudio off on the way down to 1. Looks like Carey gonna have the outside this time. Can he hold off Sparrow and take the 3rd spot while the team 93 off of 2? Looks like Sparrow still to the inside. Can Carey make it work down here? And look at Brian Fine. Really 2 cautions ago, he was our caution spinning there for catching that apron. Now he's back up here in the top 5.
Exactly what he needed to do. Just keep his head down and keep picking off positions on these restarts. Now back up into the top 5, taking over that 4th position. Chris Sparrow going to be stuck on the inside there. Could not quite make the inside work on the restart like his teammate did. Gave up a handful of positions as a result. But now Justin Malarkey back in position here to try to chase down Gaudio for the lead. And the 2 of them starting to stretch out a gap on the rest of the field. Just they've got some extra in the tank, the 3 and the 73. Really been the class of the field tonight.
Yeah, their pace is just really immaculate, if I'd have to say
Haru
that.
on the wall.
Oh, Haru on the 7.
Big wreck.
That's going to bring out our 6th caution of the night. Brought to you by Or Nissan Central. And looks like Haru is where it all started. That number 7 machine. And oh, man, yeah, it definitely had some calamity there. As we'll go back on the Freaky Fast replay. Let's see here coming down the front straightaway, crossing the start-finish line. 7's going to catch the outside wall there. And I tell you what, these ARCA cars is hard to get off the wall. Goes down into the corner, loses the rear end, trying to save it, trying to counter steer there. As you see the wheels are turned right. It hooks dead right. And look at that. Steven Rasick, the 4 held Rothy, Jeff Carson. Multiple drivers involved there in this 6th caution of the season.
Well, we've got now the race controls switching the restarts to single file. Not sure why that was necessary, that they elected to do that, but I guess they feel that that's going to put on a bit better of a product, try to keep these cautions down from what they have been there, but didn't seem like that was a restart issue on that one, just a little bit of a miscue by a driver catching the wall and almost had it saved. I can tell you, when it snaps back right like that, you don't expect it. You're just trying to keep with the slide and find your way to the apron, and then suddenly the front tires went, nah, we're just going to grip now, and we like the way the outside wall looks, so we want you to look at it too.
That's a great explanation for it. When it grips up, it goes back right very quickly, and there's nothing really you can do. You're along for a ride there. That's why sometimes it's just better to lock it down, get down the racetrack. But, you know, you're trying your best to save it, not bring out a caution. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in that heat of the moment. And unfortunately there, the 7 going around as that car grips up in the front end and hits that outside wall. But, man, looking through our top 12 drivers in our playoffs, we've had 7 of them involved in cautions tonight. I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's over a majority of them. So it's definitely been a rough night for playoff guys here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. As next week they'll have the Kansas Motor Speedway and then the Richmond International Speedway.
Fortunately,
Raceway, sorry.
again, talking about Steven Rasick, he was right behind Michael Rue when that happened. Unfortunately, nowhere for him to go, and he's the very last driver in the playoffs right now in that 12th position. Really needed a good run, sitting 14 spots back from the lead, but 4 spots back from that cutoff here. And we're running out of time. Still got a little under 30 laps to go. There's potential for a lot of guys to have a lot bigger wrecks. Eventually, all this damage, the little bits of damage guys are starting to accumulate. Eventually, that's all going to start adding up, and all it's going to take is one big hit, and you're going to have to spend a significant amount of time on pit road getting that fixed. And if you go a lap down here, it's going to be very hard to get it back.
Yeah, almost almost impossible at this point, unless, you get a few guys that get taken out, it'll work out for you. It's definitely tough, though, to get back on that lead lap here. The cautions help, but the thing is, if you're involved in that caution, it does not help.
Looking at the order right now, we've got Steven Rasick, first car 1 lap down. Luckily, if we get another caution, he's in that lucky dog position. But then you've got Matt Upbrook 2 laps down, Harold Rothery 3 laps, Jake O'Shea, Michael Rue, and Richard Gonzalez 4 laps down right now. Bob Fitzpatrick 18, and I believe Hendry and Dude have called it quits on the evening, taking it behind the wall, 28 and 40 laps down in the 18th and 19th positions.
Green flag back out and away. Anthony Gaudio off and away with the 73 of Justin Malarkey here in second. Going to lead them down here with Stephen Carey holding on to third, Brian Fine fourth, Christopher Smerol rounding out your top 5, and Steve Potter in the 94. He's in 6th.
He got his doors blown off by David Edwards on that restart. Edwards now charging in the middle lane, trying to catch up to the 14 here to crack into the top 5.
24 to go. David Edwards trying to charge back up through after having somewhat of a mistake there. Spinning the race car, charging back up through here at the Ultimate Warrior racing car, I guess you can call it. But man, he's definitely been quick, but does he have enough time? 22 laps here to click off in a matter of seconds. And I mean, you can literally see he's got to still pass 3 guys to get before he gets to Gaudio, or 4 guys, sorry, before he gets to Gaudio, and that is, at Bristol, is easier said than done.
Absolutely. It's going to take quite a bit and probably some help from some cautions to help kind of gather the field back up and see if he can grab a couple more positions on the next restart.
Here comes the 98 of Brian Fine to the outside, trying to get that top 3 position away from Stephen Carey in the 83. These two are battling on that cut line in the points right now. And there it goes, 98 up the 3rd. And Smerol in the 14 is going to follow suit. He's going to drive up the 4th. And David Edwards is going to try to break into the top 5 past Stephen Carey to push Stephen Carey back to 6th.
Well, unfortunately, that really held up David Edwards. He's been able to make that lower lane work very well. Had a big run and just got caught behind that of Stephen Carey. Now had to follow back in line here. But you see how much ground he's gaining running that lower line as opposed to Chris Smerol directly ahead of him, as well as Brian Fine. And now Chris Smerol trying to make that move to the inside here. Not going to work out that well. Now going to be under fire from Edwards here, as Edwards again just rolling the inside. Big checkup here, a little bit tight off the exit.
Yeah, he's definitely got it working, and I'm telling you what, there's a feeling that you can get on the bottom where you can just get it rolling, and Edwards has seemed to have it pretty dialed in. The problem right now is that 14's got to he's having a mega run off the top. Now he's got to slide in behind those two and ride for the moment. 16 to go. Malarkey really starting to actually close the gap a little bit on Gaudio, as Gaudio catches Rasick in the 2. He's going to have lap traffic here.
Yeah, not that many cars in the field, so lap traffic not going to be super detrimental to these lead. And there's only going to be 1 or 2 at a time that they're going to be catching. But now, I mean, it just seems like Malarkey maybe a little bit better, and it's something we've seen out of him before. It's just that long run pace. Gaudio's super quick on those fresh tires, but falling off now just a little bit as these laps are winding down.
And with 13 to go, I tell you what, Smerol, Brian Fine, and David Edwards here for this 3rd, 4th, and 5th position are going at it like it's the race win. Smerol made a move to make it 3 wide in the middle, and it almost did not turn out very well, as I think he's got a little more pace than Brian Fine. Fine bounces off the outside wall, Smirol is just kind of stuck right there as Edwards is trying to roll the bottom past them both.
A little bit of a wiggle out of Smirol going in to turn 3 there allows Edwards to get an even better run, but just Edwards, I think the tires have kind of ballooned a little bit too much, just cannot get the inside to roll as much as he did, but now great run out. He might be able to pull off a slide job here, could not sail it in that deep. He's getting pinched down just a little bit on the entry. It's hurting his speed, and you see him really tight on the exit. Has to roll out of the throttle there to avoid running the 14 into the fence. Now it's going to be 3 wide out of turn 2.
Oh, great action. Here comes Smirol to the bottom. Can he make it work? Thing is, just not able to do it. Here comes David Edwards around the outside. That's what Edwards is looking for. And the battle up front is heating up too. Is Malarkey all over the back bumper of Anthony Gaudio with 9 to go. Everything is still at a shot for these drivers. We could get a caution. You never know. Side by side though for the lead. Malarkey working the bottom. Trying a big check up there off of 2 there. We'll lose a little bit of time as Edwards now trying to take 3rd from Brian Fine.
Edwards able to cross. Now he's going to be able to slide up. Had it open, Fine lifted to allow that pass to happen there. Safe move for Brian Fine to allow David Edwards to get in front of him there. Not worry about trying to carry his run. Still, he's got Chris Smirol trapped behind him, and this is exactly what David Edwards wants to see. He's going to have no pressure from behind here. Still has a number of laps to try to chase. Oh no, Smirol gets into Fine, puts him up in the wall. Everybody keeps going there, but lost a lot of momentum for the the 4th and 5th place drivers. That's allowed Jeff Carson now to close in.
Jeff Carson and 9 closing in here for a top 5 spot. He's fighting for this 4th, 5th, and 6th position. And here he comes to the outside of Smirol, who can't make it work. But here's Malarkey with 5 to go, coming to 4. He's been on the bottom of this 3 the past 2 laps. Just has not been able to make it work. He's got so much more pace, just can't get around. Here comes the run down the back straightaway.
And this could come down to having to give the guy a little bit of a shot going into the corner. But look at this run out of turn 4. That's the timing right there that you need. He was just about ahead of the 3 car across the line. If he can time that on the last lap, that's how you steal a win.
We'll see, still working that bottom, coming to 2 to go. This is getting intense. Malarkey still leads it at the line. And I tell you what, David Edwards from behind is running so much quicker than these guys. He's coming into the pictures. They'll be taking the white flag, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. One final time here tonight. Here it is, white flag in the air. Last lap, Malarkey on the bottom. He tries to slide up. Can he do it? Side by side down the back straight. Oh man, look at this down the back straightaways. David Edwards is going to win. Jeff Carson is going to. And what is going on? Gaudio to 3rd.
And
have you ever? No, I've never.
That is the exact position you want to see yourself in. You've got to put yourself in the position to take advantage of these guys racing hard like that. David Edwards battled for that group of 3 cars, battled through there to put himself in the position, able to drive away, try to catch these guys. Prime position to steal this win when they made contact, right there when it mattered. And then we talked about the 9 of Jeff Carson coming from the back of the field, able to take advantage of well for a 2nd place.
Oh man. Anthony Gaudio having somewhat of a mistake, getting into the outside wall, bouncing down the racetrack into the 73 of Malarkey, turning him up the racetrack. You know Gaudio did not mean to do that, but just so unfortunate for Malarkey. I mean, a win almost in the bag with the 3 hitting the wall. We're going back here on replay to show you exactly how that all played out here. This was the white flag. Malarkey going down into 1 and 2 side by side action. 3 into the wall, bounces off of it, and it comes down the racetrack, gets into the right rear quarter panel. That's going to send both of them shooting up into the wall, and Malarkey here going to get the worst end of it with just getting the quarter panel more caught there, and it's going to turn him around. As you're going to see here on the bottom, David Edwards is going to cruise by to victory with Jeff Carson coming by for 2nd. I mean, what a finish. What turn of events. And man, just Bristol never fails to have something wild like that happen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, but we'll have to take a quick break here to get our top 3 up here in the booth to have a chat with them after that wild finish. All right, we are back here, everybody, after a wild turn of events. Our third place man, we got Anthony Gaudio up in the booth here to have a chat about his third place finish here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Hey, Anthony, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy. Well, man, what an intense battle between you there and the 73 of Justin Malarkey there coming down to the very end there. And then, man, just an unfortunate ending. I know you did not want it to play out that way. Getting into the outside wall, a little bit of contact between you and him. And, man, just transpiring from there a wild finish. I mean, take us through that ending there, trying to hold off the 73.
Word. Bristol.
Yeah.
Man, I couldn't apologize enough to Justin. I was giving it literally everything I had. I fired off a little too early. I was just trying to stay out front and burn my stuff up. And he was coming, and I was just hogging that high lane. He kept getting really good runs, and I was just giving it all I had, man. I fired off, what was that, turn 2, a little too hard, a little too early, got in the wall, and I did everything I could to get the wheel back turn right, so I didn't hit him, and it was just like a magnet, man. I apologize through and through. It sucks to see that happen. I wish I can take it back.
Definitely, man. I understand the feeling. You know, sometimes those mistakes like that happen. It's so quick trying to keep that car from bouncing left out of that wall. And with all that, that collision like that is hard to do, man. And very wild finish for us up here. Not expecting to see that coming down to the end. So you definitely brought some fireworks here for iRacing Live tonight, Anthony. And a great run nonetheless, man, leading lots of laps here again in that 3 machine. But next week we head off back to the Kansas Motor Speedway. A mile and a half, and then we head off to Richmond. I mean, you got 2 races coming up. A good finish here tonight at Bristol, I think, should put you in a good position. How you feel about going into those next 2 races here in the round of 12?
Yeah, I feel good. I think Kansas is another 1-lane track, I believe. It's going to be interesting for sure. But yeah, I just gotta keep it consistent. The last couple weeks weren't in my favor. I did so good during the regular season. The playoffs come and not so good. So I just gotta get back on that momentum train and carry off.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, great finish here tonight in that three machine, leading lots of laps again here. Bring home another third place finish in top three. Before we let you get out of here, Anthony, anybody wants to shout to?
Yeah, shout out to my family, my team, you guys. That's really it. See y'all next week.
Awesome stuff, Anthony. We'll catch you next week, buddy, at Kansas. You have a great week.
You too, man.
All right, that was Anthony Gaudio in the three machine, bringing home that third place finish. And look at Jeff Carson, one of the drivers coming in here tonight, needing a good finish to start off this round of 12 here, as he was able to bring home that second place finish. Coming in here tonight, 2 points below that cut line, looking very good going into Kansas next week. Hey Jeff, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
I got you.
Well, I tell you what, man, another late drive up to the front for you, Jeff. Just a fantastic ending there for you, man. Right there coming in the closing moments, you're in the 6th position, and then you end up in second, man. Take us through that.
That single file restart, I think kind of hurt me a little bit because I had to start behind every lap car on that restart, and so I had to make my way around all the lap cars and then start picking them off one at a time. I figured out a nice line, basically high to low and coming off, and it was quicker, and I was able to get a run off the corner and able to easily make a pass.
Yeah, you definitely made passing look very easy. A lot of guys struggle with that here tonight. So you definitely improved in that area of the track compared to others out there, man. But I tell you what, you came in here tonight 10th in points, 2 points below that cut line. This should definitely help your cause for those points. Heading into Kansas next week, another mile and a half, and then we got the short track of Richmond again here to add 2 short tracks to this round. How do you feel about going into these final 2 races after your finish here tonight at this wild Bristol racetrack?
Those races are kind of up in the air because I got errands that basically got to leave town, so I'm not sure if I'm going to make those races. So tonight was kind of like my last opportunity to make it to round 8. Kansas is 50-50 right now, but Richmond's definitely out for me. But as you know, if I do make Kansas, I do real well at the mile and a half tracks.
Yes, you definitely do. I was about to say, if you can make Kansas, that's going to be one you're a threat for, my friend, because mile and a halves are definitely your cup of tea. It's been this season. So, man, congrats on another wild finish here tonight and second here for that 9 machine to get you some good points, and hopefully you'll be able to get to us next week here at Kansas, man. Before we let you go, Jeff, any shouts you want to send?
A shout out for you guys for putting on the awesome broadcast every week. The league and the admins put this league together. My teammates, Harold and Anthony, and my sponsor.
Jeff, you have a great night, and hopefully we catch you in 1 week at Kansas.
All right, but thank you.
All right, everybody. That was the 9 of Jeff Carson, your second place finisher. But, man, your Sheffield Graphics race winner, David Edwards, in the Ultimate Warrior paint scheme. I got to say, that thing is very beautiful paint scheme. I mean, these guys are just producing paint schemes each and every week. I mean, if, the racing here is A-class anyways here at the Evolution Racing League. But if you just want to see some nice paint schemes, you could definitely come out here and watch these races. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Let's get a chat with your Sheffield Graphics race winner, David Edwards. Hey, David, is Zach up in the booth, man? You got a copy?
10-4, I got you, Jack.
Well, I tell you what, buddy, what a wild finish. I'm sure taking that white flag, a win was, probably pretty far back in your mind. There's always a chance, but I tell you what, those 2 wrecking up front, you were coming also from behind, man. I tell you were catching them so quick, and you just seemed to have the bottom working better than almost any driver out there. Kind of take us through those final few moments of getting up into that 3rd position, and then, slowly working your way to get closer and closer to them to be able to pull off the victory.
Yeah, I mean, I was catching them there at the end. We was going to run out of time, honestly. I'd have to go back and count the laps that me and Chris and Brian raced 2 and 3 wide there. I mean, I told Brian earlier that I'm going to put his middle name as Newman because he did nothing wrong racing, but God, he was a pain in the ass to get around. But it was fun, and then once we finally cleared him, just try to click off laps and get there. And I knew I was going to run out of time, but there's always that hope of maybe they catch the wall or get together, and I stole that one away.
Yeah, man. Well, I tell you what, this puts you in good position also now after the win here at Bristol, this wild card of a race, so we'd say here for the round of 12. We got Kansas and Richmond coming up. I'm sure now the plan there is just going ahead and get some more victories in the back pocket, huh?
Yeah, we need to stash up as many points as we can, lead some laps, so we can go into the round of 8 and not be starting behind the 8 ball there. But I mean, it good run. I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks and just can breathe easy. I was happy coming away with a third here with the way the kind of race played out, but I'll take the win nonetheless.
Yeah, man, it definitely played out well for yourself. And, also back to kind of what I asked you in the one of the parts of the question I was asking you earlier is, you really had the bottom working. I mean, it seemed like a lot of other guys could get to the inside of people, but couldn't get really working. Did that something come to you during the race, or is that something you had figured out before coming in here tonight?
We had practiced earlier in the week, and I knew it was there. I mean, I've run a few other races here. I knew it was there. If you entered the corner right, played the throttle, played the brake. I was kind of up in the air whether or not it was going to work tonight because everybody has their own line when they're at the top, but it does work the best when you've got the guys. The tires are wore. They're having to back it up so much and tag the wall and check everything up on the top that you can get the bottom rolling pretty good.
Well, man, you definitely did that here tonight in the 15. Guys say like the paint schemes out there from the team. It looked really, really cool out there to have you guys theme paint scenes again. So congrats on the victory, man. Before we let you go, though, it's your floor for any shout outs, David.
First and foremost, thank my wife for letting me do this on Tuesday nights. Everybody over at Slide Jobs Racing that puts in the work, Donkey Punch Motorsports, Richard and Matt, putting in countless hours of practice and turning laps, sharing data. You guys for broadcasting it so family and friends can watch it. Ryan and everybody over at Evolution Racing League and RSR just putting this on. And we look forward to Kansas next week. I believe it's Kansas, and then see what we can do there.
Yeah, man, off to Kansas next week, David. Congrats on the win here tonight at Bristol. We'll catch you there, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was your Sheffield Graphics race winner of David Edwards in that 15, locking himself into the round of 8. What a night it was for him there as he's going to go on to get some more victories there at Kansas and Richmond in the next 2 weeks to add to them bonus points. But here is your final race results tonight here from the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Fishbowl 90 here on iRacing Live. David Edwards is going to bring home that race victory here tonight. Second's going to go to Jeff Carson in a 9, looking for a must-win next week at Kansas possibly. Third's going to be Anthony Gaudio. Fourth's going to be Christopher Schmarol. Fifth's going to be Brian Fine. Sixth's going to go to Stephen Carey. Seventh's going to be Steve Potter after winning last week. Eighth's going to go to Zach Sandlin. Eighth's going to go to Zach Sandlin. Ninth is James Wright. 10th's going to go to Justin Malarkey after that heartbreaking finish there. Coming up really short of a victory there to open up the round. 11th's going to go to Steven Rasick. 12th's going to be Matt Upbrook. 13th's going to go to Jake Ashay. 14th, Richard Gonzalez. 15th's going to be Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. 16th, Hale Rothery. 17th, Justin Hendry. 18th, Michael Haru. And rounding out your field tonight in the 19th position is Matthew Dude, as that is your race results here tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Man, Brandon, what a race we just had transpire in front of us, man. I can only imagine what's going to happen when we head off here in the next hour to the RSR Cup Series.
That's exactly right. I mean, if you thought that was great racing, I mean, guys figuring out ways to make the inside work, just trying different things, setting people up for, the right moment to make that pass, nearly 3 wide at points going out of the corners. Wait until the Cup Series race here before too long. I mean, always a stacked field. And lap traffic, I'm sure by the end of it, it's going to be a lot more prevalent. These guys are going to have to be on their toes. And the wrecks, if they happen, which I'm sure they will because it's Bristol, they're going to be much bigger. And we talked about it before. I mean, it's such a small track with a quick lap time that a wreck that happens just behind you, it's going to be in front of you here in a second. So you got to keep an eye out for guys checking up ahead of you, even though you just saw it happen in your mirror.
Yeah, definitely to echo that, no place is safe here. We've seen Matt Upbrook running second. Caution comes out, and there's a car sitting on the racetrack, starts to move. You have nowhere to go. It's one of those places where, like you said, you run up on a wreck in a matter of a few seconds, and you have to react quickly and make the right decision, because if you make the wrong one, it's going to end up in a very bad night for you, as it did for a few guys tonight. But we'll have to see how it plays out here later tonight at the RSR Cup Series live at 9:20 Eastern. Do not miss that here on iRacing Live and also here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting as we cover the Evolution Racing League. But, man, what a night it was. Let's send it up to our producer of Robert Moyer Jr. to close out tonight's broadcast, as we've had a fantastic night here on iRacing Live.
Whew. Wow, what a finish, guys. What a finish, man. I can't wait to see what's going to happen here within less than an hour when they bring the cup cars out here with a pack probably 25 plus cars out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in at 9:20 Eastern here tonight for the second half of their doubleheader here with Evolution Racing League, as they're going to bring the Cup cars out here at Bristol Motor Speedway, or, you know, wherever you want to call it, the Fishbowl, whatever you want to call it, man. It's going to be fun. But, all right, well, we'll catch everybody in less than an hour. Hopefully, if not, hopefully you have a great week. But until then, we're going to say that, like we always like to say here at Freaky Fast, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.